Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to take a break from normal multiplayer and talk to you about the games that I play offline. Of course, the gameplay you're seeing around me right now is one of my finer moments in Apex Legends, but don't worry, the single player games are coming soon. And I look a little bit crazy today because I just finished at the gym, I'm sweaty, I'm tired, and now is the mood where I'm maybe not wanting to do multiplayer. And I do multiplayer games just about every day. I play every day and have played every day multiplayer for like the last 2 decades. I love getting online and squaring off against other people. I love playing ranked. I like trash talking. I like killing people with TTV in their name. I like playing games with friends, but not all the time. Sometimes, like after the gym, I'm just too physically tired. Maybe I don't have the social energy. Maybe I just want a less public, more private, personal sort of experience. Well, then I have to boot up my single player games. And for a guy like me, you've seen me talk about some of the other ones. I like Doom. Cyberpunk looks like it's going to be great, and some of you may even remember the Final Fantasy 15 videos and streams that I did that were incredibly fun, and maybe some of the weirder games that are coming up as well. But honestly, when I sit down to play by myself, I almost said play with myself, but you would never forgive me in the comments section. Indie games has just been what's floating my boat lately. AAA titles are nice, okay? I like AAA titles as much as anyone else, but I often feel that they focus on big cutscenes and hype marketing and big Hollywood-style kind of stories, where it feels more like I'm playing a movie, and that's not always the experience I want. Sometimes I just want to play a game, and too much of the movie feel can get boring. And also, most AAA mainstream games just don't provide a challenge to me. They're too easy, which is why I often say single-player games are boring. People ask me if I'm going to play blank single-player game because it's their favorite game on Twitter, and I'm like, that game's really boring. It's just killing bots that don't fight back. I don't like winning because I'm supposed to win. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. I get the most enjoyment out of winning when I'm supposed to lose. But oh man, indie games have been really fun for me the last couple of months here, because when I just want to relax, when I don't need a complicated story, when I don't need a bunch of BS, when I don't need like graphics blowing me away, indie games have been there, and at a very low cost too. Right now you're looking at gameplay from A Medieval, which is a new release from New Blood. I think it's like $12 on Steam right now. The game is basically old school Doom, but a little bit faster, and imagine if you put like a heavy metal wizard mod on top of Doom for every single thing. All of the enemies are magical. You're still basically shooting guns, but with a different skin. Like the shotgun is an ice wand that spreads shards. Rockets are the fire orbs. Lightning is for the machine gun, etc., etc. You'll get a hang of it really, really quick. But the enemies are creative, they're neat to look at, they're relentless, and overall brutal. Now, for me, this game is fun because it provides a challenge to survive and at a pace that I love. As a multiplayer gamer, I like fast-paced games. This floats my boat really, really well. Story elements are light, so I don't have to get super invested in this. I don't have to prepare for my heartstrings to get tugged like I'm playing a Telltale game. I can just hop in, and hop out, and I don't have to worry about it too much. I can boot it up, play for as long as I want, put it down, pick it up a week later, and nothing has changed. When I've finally got enough heavy metal wizardry in my life, I can just hang it up, and there's no losing ranks, there's no battle passes, there's no pressure, and I can pick it up 6 months from now, and it will be just fine. And that is one type of indie game that I like, the fast, Doom, just constant action sort of game. But on maybe not the entirely opposite end of the spectrum, but a slightly different place, I sometimes like playing really cutesy games that can be a nice change of pace from the typical grimdark, because most of the multiplayer and even the single player games I like are very mature, they're bloody, they're angry sort of, Warhammer 40k grimdark-esque. But then there's Enter the Gungeon by Dodge Roll, and that fills the role really well for cutesy for me. I think the game just went completely free on the Epic Store, so you don't even have to, you can just install it immediately, like free to play, no micro, it's just literally a free game. It's kind of a top-down Raiden-esque roguelike shooter of sorts. I guess you could call it a shooter. You have to explore the dungeon and defeat all the bosses in the dungeon, but it's not a dungeon, it's a gungeon, where every single thing is bullet-themed. From using casings for your money to all of your items are some kind of bullet, to your health bars are like bullets that are stacked a certain way. All of the enemies are bullets or guns, or they're all doing crazy complicated stuff. The art style for this game is what really does it for me, because it runs a fine line between being very cute and very approachable, but mature enough for me to not get bored bored with it. I mostly play the hunter because she has a doge sidekick who follows you around, and every now and then it'll like dig up some buried treasure, which is usually a really nice item. It's a very nice passive to have. It gives you a little bonus here and there, and I think it's just kind of cute imagining Ozzy or Boomy running around a big Gungeon with me. However, like a medieval, this game is quite challenging. I don't like games that are just hold your hand through. I like games that make me work a little bit. The enemies get harder, the bullets fly faster. There gets to be points where there's a lot going on at once on the screen. It can get really, really busy. And the game requires me to get better, to learn new skills, to do things, but at a reasonable pace, so I feel rewarded for my efforts. I feel like I'm actually mastering the game instead of just doing nothing, and that's really nice because some single-player games you can just and just go through. It's like quick time scenes is terrible. And in this game, instead of just mowing down endless zombie hordes, which is, I guess, kind of what I'm doing, I actually feel like I'm mastering something. I'm getting better at something, and that feels rewarding. And Enter the Gungeon is just a little bright spot in my overall, like, really dark gaming collection, but probably not as bright as Beat Saber, which I'm sure all of you have seen me stream. I'm not doing the webcam overlay on this because it'll be weird to have two me's on stream, and I muted the music because it's all from the Imagine Dragons pack, and I just do not want to get a strike from UMG. But I really like playing this game just to turn my brain off. I can just zone out and focus on the rhythm and play for hours on end and not get bored of Beat Saber because there's so many fun songs to go through, especially with mods where you just get all the pirated songs, right? It also helps me explore new music because I spent the first 27 years of my life not listening to any music at all. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I just like literally didn't like music. Not a single song was interesting. As a matter of fact, I found it overall annoying or boring, but when I started smoking weed a few years back, that part of my brain just turned on. It started working again, and I started enjoying and appreciating a little bit of music, but that leaves me as a full-grown man who knows absolutely nothing of music, with tastes all over the board and no understanding and not knowing bands and names and people, and a guy who isn't really that into it still, so the visual stimulation is quite nice, and Beat Saber helps me experience new things in a format that I like, that I can dig through, that people can recommend on Steam, and it's been very fun. It's like 30 bucks on Steam. I think it's 30 on the PlayStation Store. And these are the kind of games that I play when I'm not doing Apex or Call of Duty or League of Legends, like this ARAM match here. I've been doing way too much. I have like an ARAM addiction. I'll like do a piece of work and then have to do an ARAM. It's getting kind of bad. I think the overall message of this video is that you shouldn't sleep on indie games. Yes, I know there are thousands of terrible cash-grabbing, bad clone indie games out there that'll put you to sleep. But I think that most of the best single-player experiences that I've had in the last couple of years maybe have all been independent games. Indie games, it's like going to the thrift store. There's a bunch of junk, and then sometimes you'll find an absolute treasure for like $2. So the next time you're kind of feeling the multiplayer summer slowdown, when you don't want to grind a battle pass, when you don't want to get smashed by some TTV kids, budget yourself like 20 bucks and just go buy a ton of little independent games, and you might find an absolute gem in there and be very happy with it. Guys, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. I also hope that you have a fantastic day, and if you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.